Okay. Let me open my developer console. So yesterday we learned about the data types, and we have also learned about that how the data types are using. And that was totally gone away. Visit another source. Okay, we learn about the data types. We learn about the how to initialize the data types and how to perform operations on the data type. And today we're going to over the these are the primitive data types. Today we are going to discuss about the collection data types. So let's start. Collection data types. So we for the collection data types, we have three kind of data types. Three kind of collection data type. First is list, set, and map. Okay, list, set, and map. List. List is something like that. It's a contains the unordered list of any element of a same data type. Means suppose we have a list of string or list of integer or list of boolean or list of anything. We can declare a list of s objects too. Means if you declare anything, list of it contains all the elements in an unordered manner. Set is also something like similar to list, but what is that? It's two extra property other than list, that it contains whenever we add an element or value inside into the set, it will add in an ordered manner. Means whatever be the set we add values in a set, it comes in an ordered manner. And in the list we can add two similar values, no issue with that. Means it comes in an ordered manner and you can add two similar value at time, but in the list you can't do that. Means sorry, in the set you can't do that. You just have means whenever if the two elements having the same, it get overridden means two, if you add two elements it becomes one, second element will not be added, or second element will be override the first element if the similar element comes up. And map is a combination of set and a list. Right now we discuss about that only list and set. Once we clear that, then we go to the map. Okay, so let's first wrap up that list and set. So list is a collection of both, and list and set both are the collection of the collection data type inside the Salesforce. Not in the Salesforce, at any place you will learn about that list and set. List is used to declare means whenever we both contains a similar data types of elements. Suppose if we declare list of strings, so it will store the string values, it does not going to store the integers. And what we have, whatever be the values storing in the list are in an unordered manner. Unordered manner is means that suppose means if you it's contains in sorted order. Means you can, in short you can say that it should not be sorted order. It's comes it's a, the element you when you put an element in a list, it's extracted in the same way the in which order you have put in a list. But in a set it gets sorted according to the alphabetically, or if it is a number, then according to the number it got sorted. And okay, so let's have a look that how we declare list, what are the operations available on the list, and how we work on the list. So so for declaration, as we have told that how we declare that list. We declare the list and then we have a data type. Then list name equal to new list data type, and then in this way we are declaring a list inside a Salesforce. We have this way, and we have also something like this way, that both instances are available, means you can use any way we can declare a list. So let's start working on the list. So let's suppose I'm going to create a list of string that contains food names. Okay, now how we add elements in a list? In order to add an elements in a list, we just have to list name dot add and put the put the brackets, and then in the brackets just add the food name, just like pasta. And suppose I also adding some other element, so it should say uh, okay. So in this way we are adding the list, means an element, any element, if we want to add in a list, you have to just put you have to use add attribute, means just list name and then add, and add the element name inside the list. It gets added into the list. And if you want to see that elements are how the elements are added, means if you want to print the log, so it's just similar system food name. Let's make it fast. Food name, instead of food name, just like food name list. Okay, food name list. Okay. I'm just selecting it and then click on execute highlighted. Yep. You can see that pasta, chili paneer, and Maggi, it's added in that particular list in a such a fashion that it's added. So, sorry. Okay. In this way, we can add an element in a list and add an element in list and can see what's can see in a debug. Suppose now we have some operations over the list, that suppose I have to extract the values from a list, because suppose I need to use that values in a for any operation. So whenever we have an option that we need to extract the value, here I'm adding the value, right? Here I'm adding a new value inside a list. Suppose I need to extract these values from a list. So what way I will do, I will have to just do string, since its data type is a string, and suppose I need to extract second value. So suppose I have to extract the chili paneer. So what I will do, that I will declare a string and then and put the list name, okay, dot get, and I will, and how we extracting that, it's via index number, means Extracting a values from a list is something like an index number. It's similar to array. What you have, if you have learned some other thing, it's similar to array that learn in a JavaScript if you're working with the JavaScript. Apart from that, if you don't know that, it's okay. It's all the elements added in a list are in comes in indexing. First element are at 0 index, for 1 and 2 means it's at 0 in 0 index, it's at 1 index, and it's at 2 index. Means every element that added in a list, it's added added at it index. So index is starting from the 0. So first element is added at the 0 index, second element is added at the first index, and third element will be added as at the second index of this list. So whenever we have to extract the element from that list, we need to extract it via index values. So for extracting an element via index from a list via its index value, we have a method. Say it's called list name dot get index value. Okay, we have this one, and we have also that list name square bracket index value. Okay, we have two methods in via which we can extract an element from a list via index. Either we have a list name dot get index value, and list name then index value, square bracket, and then index value. We have two via two ways we can extract that value from a list. So if we put dot get and then put suppose extract chili paneer value, so what should be, it should be 1, because it's at second element, and second element will be present at index 1, so it will be 1. Let's debug that. It's coming up. Okay, so extracted, since I put the 1, so extracted the second value from that list, and it's showing me up there. So whenever we need to extract an element from a list, what we do have to do, we just have to extract it via uh, index value, or for extracting via index value, we have a option such as either we use the get method, or we directly use the square bracket. Suppose I will extract it via square bracket. So what I will do that, I will just suppose I need to extract Maggie. So I will put my list name here. This is my list name, and put up here, put the square bracket, and it should be 0, 1, 2, second index. So it's second index. Let's run it, execute highlighted. So it's showing me extracted the Maggie value. So in this way, we can extract an element from an list. It's no issue. It got extracted, and we can add an element. We can extract an element in a from a list. Okay, so this is the way how we extract an element. But usually that the issue is that this whenever suppose we have only 3 elements, so we can count that number, means 1, 2. Suppose we have 100 elements in a list, so it's quite not possible to count the index and then extract the values one by one, or do something like that. So it is not possible to do something like that. For that, in order to work on that, we use our concept of loops. Okay, we use the concept of a loops for that. Whenever we have a since it is only three elements, so it's easy to extract and a value from a extract and a value from the list. But suppose we don't have a suppose we have a large number of data set, means suppose we have a thousands of elements in that list, so it's quite not possible that we remember each index and do our coding and perform the coding by extracting the values from a list. So what we will do, we will use the concept of a loop. In the Salesforce loop will behave in a such a way that we you all know that we have three kinds of loop: for, while, and do while. So here in the Salesforce we use for loop. And every places they are using for loop, so we can use the for loops. We can also use the while and do while loop, but they are not humans. It's not a kind of usable, means they are not usually they are not using. I haven't found that those loops at any place. So they are using the for values and for loops. So to use a for loop inside a Salesforce, its syntax will be for, and then we have a data type, then variable name, then put colon, and then collection list name. Okay, so this is the format in which the loop is working. This is the format in which the loop is working. Loop is a syntax of this loop that we have to put data type, variable name, collection list name, and then put a colon, and then collection list name, and then curly braces, in which our code is present. Means your code, means whatever the code will be, that means whatever the operation that we are going to perform, it will be inside this curly braces. So for that, let's have a look at how it's working. Suppose so I declare this. Now for the data type is dependent on this. Here data type is dependent on the collection list name. Means what are be the collection list names data type, it will be the same. Means data type is the data type. Oh, data type will be same as the data type of collection. Okay, whatever the data type of this collection, it should be the same data type will be available up here. So in our case, our collection is the food name list, and its data type is a string. So I will write the string, and put a variable name. Variable name could be anything. So I just because we are working in the food name list, so I just put the food name as a variable. After that, I put a colon, and then I will put the collection list name. Collection list name is food name list. So I put up here food name list. So what it do, that it will, whenever the loop start running, it should what it will do, it start extracting one element, one by one element from this list, and put that element in this food name. Okay, one more time. So whenever the loop is running, it will extract one element from this list and put that it will extract an element from a list and put that value into this food name, so that we can use food name in our coding. So what it will do, we just whenever the loop is running, and it will work till the all the element get traversed. Means it will run for each and every element one by one. Means it will run for one for pasta, and then will paneer, then it will run for the Maggie. It will run, means this loop will run three times, and at these three times the food name value will always change. Means always it will extract, means loop will extract one element from this list, and then assign that list value to this food name, so that we can use this extracted value on our coding. So what I'm going to that, I'm going to that, I want to print all the values that are available in this food name. Okay, so what I'm going to do that, I will put a system.debug and food names from loop in loop. Okay, and I will put this variable name, since as I told you that whenever a loop is running, it will run for this collection of variable, and this collection of variable will run one by one. And one it's suppose loop for first element, so it first element get extracted, means pasta will extracted and pasta will assign to this food name. Second loop run, it will run chili paneer will extracted and will assign to this food name. So it will helps that it will means this three element can be traversed manually. We can traverse by indexing, but what we have to do, if we have to traverse thousands of elements, so it is not possible to write index one by one by one. So in order to short that value, means in order to shorten that thing, what we do that, we do use the we use the loop for that. What it will do that, it will extract one element from that loop and use that element in extract one element from the loop and put that variable put that extracted element in this put that extracted element for that variable, and so that we can use that extracted element inside our coding or inside that loop. So let's me run that, so that and I'm going to comment these two lines so you will not get confused. Yeah, you can see that it extracted one by one. It will come first, loop will run three times. It will first extracted the pasta, then will extract the chili paneer, and then it will extract the Maggie. So what's the loop is doing that? It's just extracting the values one by one, means from here, and assigning that value to that food name. Okay, suppose I add one more element. Okay, so it index will be 3. Okay, and if I run it, so what will we do? It will loop will run 4 times, and last time one more element will be added inside the list, and it will be visible. So just like we are getting the just like we are this is the standard how we are using loop. But in the Java or any other concept, we are also use that loop in such a way that for here we declare integer I is equal to 0, I is less than something like that. These kind of things, you remember that I is less than 4, I plus plus. Okay, have you guys remember this thing, such kind of
Yeah, you can put
yeah.
the I less than or I is equal to, so it will gonna on the maximum till 4.
Yeah, we can use
That's
this type of loop also for this for this what you can say for extracting the element from that our collection list type. We can use this type of list also. So let's have a look at how we can use this type of loop for that. But usually this type of looping is not preferred, but if you want to use that, I'm not why I'm saying that. Let's have a look at. So for that, when we using this is the this type of loop, and when you are using this type of loop for our coding purpose, in that what it will do that, so it has three parameters. First, it needs the starting position. Second, it needs the ending position, and it has an incrementing value that you will control. So what's it will do that first we initialize that a variable. Second, we need a ending position. Here we don't know the end of that. What will be the, since we know that it has four elements, so I write the four. Might be it has. Suppose I don't know the size of that list, so I don't know how to print. Suppose let's print the value so that we quite clear. Uh, Food name from. Okay, food name from on normal list. So since we don't have such kind of thing, so what it will be do that we have to follow our basic concept that how to get values. It should be something like that, food name dot get, and here it will be index, that it will be I, and it is same as that here the index of I. And let me comment this thing. Okay, I just put then I just run this, and it executed and executed and extracted the values one by one. Now what I have, suppose I just added one more element. So what it will be do that once when we added one more element, so it has an issue that I need to update here too. I need to make it 5. Okay, so after if I need if I make it 5, then after I can extract the value. So I need to, whenever I'm changing the list, at the same moment I also need to change the loop. Okay, at the same moment we need to also change the loop element, means loop element, and then we can extract the values from up here. And this is the means we need to also need to change the element. So in order to uh, this to be dynamic, means this to be dependent on that list, we don't, because why we are doing this, we actually we don't know the size of the list. So that's why whenever we are changing that here, since here, so we have to make changes up here. So what I will do, I will make it dynamic. So for dynamic, just put an integer, and what will be that, food name list, integer and max size. Okay, we have an inbuilt function called size. It will design, it will declare, it will extract the size of the list. So what will be the size of the list? You can see up here, and that I will put up here. Okay, and now I will execute. So whenever a new element added in that list, it will also get loop will change according to that thing. Since whenever the new element is added, it will loop will also process according to that list, because we are changing, making changes in the size too according to the size of the list. So now what's the difference in that? What's the difference in these two? Say if we are looking for this loop and looking for this loop, this is the loop only contains only 3 lines, means we are doing the same thing, here and here also, but in this we are we are declaring our we are extracting the value from a loop in just a 3 lines, but here we have to write 5 lines, means 2 lines, sorry, here we have to write 4 lines because it's just a debug statement. Here we write a 4 lines. So in order to just make it to more reduce the number of lines, we are using that thing, and it is also help us that we don't have to declare too much, or we can also uh, use this thing in a something like that to reduce the number of line, but it quite much not it quite not usable. Usually we need, because it's dependent, because this loop is totally dependent on the size of the list, size of the loop, but means if it is it's work on that, means suppose if list have a let me instead of doing that let me show you that what's the why we are not, why you are using this one and why we are not using this. Um, you may means this contains only 3 lines, that's okay, and this will have 4 lines because I put that. And suppose someone might be, you have seen that why you are declaring the variables, we can make it 3 lines too. If I come from copy it from here and paste it here, it will work fine. Yeah, you are correct, it will work fine. So let's see that, you can see that it will work fine. uh, yeah, I will directly put that list and it's working fine. We can it comes in the same way, and it's showing me that element. But there is an issue in that. Suppose 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 let's do another example. Food name list temp. Okay, I just declare a list. Yeah, I just declare a list and haven't added any element in that list. Okay, I just declare a list and not added any element in the list. Okay, and running that list. Okay, and running that list. So it throws me, yeah, it throws me error because we haven't initialized that list. And the same thing also will happen for this one, but it's at one case it fails. I forget that. No, that's not the example. Hmm. Okay, forget that thing. Leave it. Okay, yeah. So I guess mismatch. Yeah, both will fail on that if you don't initialize that list. So both will don't work fine, because both will depend. If you don't initialize that thing, it will it will not work fine. The thing is that only the thing is that both loops are similar, but only thing is that here we have to take care of the indexing thing, and here we don't have to take care of the indexing. We just have to just use the list name. We don't care about the index of that thing. It will automatically extract, means one element one by one, and extract element one by one, and then put that value into that loop, into that variable name which we declare according to the data type, and we can use that value up here. In this in this we have to take care of that indexing, means we need to take care of the size, and we have to take care of the index of that, means here just like the, if you want to use our traditional method, then we can also use the traditional method, that is via just like array. It will array also work fine if we use the array of that, means food name, just like we have seen up here, that whenever we have to get an element from a list, we have two things that we can extract the element from a list you via index, and index is happening in such a way that either we use the get method, or we directly use the I means directly the square bracket, and then extract an element from that list. and then print a that statement or perform any other operation over that list. But for performing any operation on the list, first we have to extract the value from the list. So for that extracting values, we have the two ways how we are extracting the values. This one is used in a Salesforce. Mostly at most places we will find this kind of loop. Means uh, it's quite similar. Means it does not have to, we don't have to take care about that what's the size of the list, whatever be the size of the list, it's run for that. And we also don't care about the indexing, so it, because it will run for one by one for each and every element of the list, and extract extract an element and assign that value to that variable that we have declared. And we can use that value in the inside the loop. Okay, yeah, one more thing is point is that if any values that declare that extracted from that loop and assigned to that variable, that it will, that scope will be inside the loop, it is not outside that loop. Means that scope will be only inside these two curly braces. Apart from that, this food name does not have any scope for that. And similarly, we have this kind of loop, our traditional loop thing also. So here what we have to do, we have to take care of that starting point and ending point of that loop. And we have also incrementing value that you can control. Means actual 1 plus 1 plus 2 you can control, but since we have to extract each and every element, so we need to write I plus plus, so that's okay. And then we have this one, we have our traditional methods. Means how we get the value from a list. Means it either be a get or other be array. Means these are traditional methods. Means that are come from that cells, or sorry, that are come from the Java. These are the coming from the traditional methods. Means it's a traditional way how we are extracting a value from a list. And it is the way how the Apex is using extracting a value from a list. They are similar, but the only thing is that it's only thing difference is that it does not focus on the index of that value. It does not focus on the index. It directly extract the value one by one from that list, but it's focus on the indexing of that value, indexing of the list. And whenever the list whenever any value we need to extract from a list, we need to use either get method or put a square bracket to extract a value from a list. Okay, so in this way we are declaring, we are adding a value in a list, and then we are extracting a value from a list. Suppose we have also situation that we need to add a value inside a set. Means we have to also situation that we need to add a values in a set. Let's have a look that how we add a value, how we work on the set. So for working on the set, let's comment this out. And declaration of the set means what, how we declare or add a value inside a list or perform operation on the list. It's same that we are performing that on the set too. There's no difference in that. Okay, so let's have a look how we declare a set and how we work on the set. So for declaring a set, we have a set declaration list, and declaration of set is just change is that instead of list it will become a set, set, set. Yep, and it will be set name, set name. Yeah, it will be declared in the same way. In this way we are declaring a set or a list. Okay, we are declaring a set or a list in this way. Means whenever we have to declare a set or a list in this way, we can declaring a set in a set. Either we just have to means either we just put that set data type and set name, or we just set data type and and add a memory to that set, just like we adding a memory to the list also. So I'm adding a set. Okay. Set of a string, and then set let's set for the set of element. Skill set. Okay, skills set. So for a skill set, adding an element is also same as we are adding an element in a list. Means set name dot add, means adding an element. Okay, so set name add skill set, that communication, and we added one more skill set is good vocab. Okay. Okay, and now just like we are printing the values from a set, we are printing the values from here also. Sorry, just like we are printing the values as a list, we are also printing the just value as a list in the set also. To we just put the set name and let execute. Sorry, execute highlighted. Okay, communication good. You can see that it's get arranged, means it got arranged according to the alphabetical order. And one more thing that you can see that it's a when we are declaring a list, it comes in a bracket, it comes in a normal bracket, and once we are declaring a set, it comes in a curly braces. Yeah. Okay, so that's the also identification between that how set and a list. Okay, curly braces, it's a how we inside it operating, means it's an inside operation. So what we are just adding that elements in one by one in a set, and whatever be the element is added in a set get ordered, and but in a list it not ordered, but it will not ordered, uh, it will act as a same how it's adding in that set, in that list, but in the set it get ordered. And one more thing, if we add one means it also maintain the set also maintains the uniqueness, means if we add two values having the same data, then it will not get added up here. Suppose after adding a value, I will put again the skill set, I will print again the skill set, it will not get added into that list. Let's show, let me show you. Yeah, before and after are same. And while in a list, if I suppose I add a same element again, suppose I add the same element again, and then let's see, and then I will print that list name. So what it will do, that it will add that element 2 in that list. Okay, you can see that in the list before adding before adding it's pizza, and then once we add one more element pizza, it becomes twice. But in case of set, I added technical twice, but it's still, it's because it's sorry, I added the good vocab twice, but it's still it will showing that only one, because it's a set, it maintains the uniqueness. So that is the property of a set, that why we are using set. That is the main importance, that why we are using set. We are using set only that condition, in only that condition in which we have to maintain the uniqueness. Suppose we need to maintain the uniqueness in the email addresses, suppose we need to maintain the uniqueness in the username, suppose we need to maintain the uniqueness in the what we can say, id. So at any cases, suppose we need to make the uniqueness, so at that time we use that we go to that set, and set because both are working as similar, means how we are working on a set, or how we are working on list, both working as similar, but the only difference is that we only get the values, means we only get the unique values inside a set, means we don't have get any chance that we can get duplicate values inside the set. That's the main reason why we are using set inside while the development, that it's only the reason that we are using the set for the uniqueness, to maintain the uniqueness. Okay, so to maintain the uniqueness, we are getting the value from the set, and then perform the operation, because of performing the operation will both same, means both will work for as this loop, means if I suppose this loop is work for the list, and similar thing is also work for the, suppose this is for the list, and we also use for the set list name, and if I change it to skill set, so you can see that both are working in the same way, means what will be the list name, what will be the set name, it's no issue, means both operation performing any operation on the list or in set are working in the same way. You can see that suppose if I execute it, let me execute, sorry. Okay, so you can see that this up to, I think it's up to that yeah, this is up to the list, and then there we have got the set. Okay, we get the set and we got the list values. Performing the values are in the same way, that performing the values are in the same way as we have do with the list, is the same how we perform that, how we do operations on the set or a list. But the only thing that why we are using the set is because that we need to maintain the uniqueness inside the inside the set, so that's why we are using. And okay, so right now we just discuss about that, how we declare a set, how we declare a list, and how we add an element in a list, how we add an element in a set, and how, what is the difference, what is the basic architectural difference between a set and a list. That list can be in a list, it is some list is an unordered and set is an ordered set. And one more thing, that whenever we add an element inside whenever we add a duplicate element inside a let, it can be added, but in the set it was not added, it maintains the uniqueness. So it will always maintains the uniqueness inside the set. So due to that reason, we are using the set for in our development purpose. Okay, let's take a, okay, like any questions? Tell.
Suraj,
Hmm?
is there hash map like array list, kind of?
Yeah, it's not hash map, it's a exact map. A map is the same thing.
I mean, are we going to use only list, set, and map, or we are going to use like tree set, like array list?
What is that? Tree set?
Yes, like we use in Java.
No, that is not available up here.
Only list, set, and map, right?
Yeah, only list set and
Okay.
map. That's three.
Okay.
That's three types. That's three collective data types are available.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Suraj, could you please copy and paste this into the source?
Okay. 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 Then we come back and we will discuss more about more capabilities of the set and more thing we will discuss over the set, that how we are working on the set and how, because there's some more difference between this list and set. Okay, because set sub provide more capabilities, so we will discuss after the break. So let's come back after the 10 minutes. Okay, bye. Okay, hello everyone. Okay, let's start the next. Since we are performing that set, so set has some capabilities. Set has some capabilities apart from the list, that it has capability that suppose in a set I need to check that we have a requirement, something saying that I need to check that is the set, everyone come back or not?
Here.
Okay. Okay, suppose in a set we have a requirement that, suppose we have a requirement that we need to check that its domain exists in a list or not. It's, or in a, or more precise way, suppose we need to check, we have a requirement that we need to check that that a particular value exists in a collection of variable or no. Means if that a particular value exists in a collection of variable or no. So at that time, suppose I need to check that its Chomin exists in a list in here. So what I will do that I will go to I will write a loop, and then here I will check that if food name equal to Chomin, then it will print, yeah, I found Chomin. Okay. Okay. So in case of set, what I have to do that I need to run the loop, and then I need to run the loop, and then I need to compare each element of that loop, each compare and each element to that my particular thing that I want to searching, and then once it found, it will behave in a such way. So let's have a look. Execute it. So okay, it once it found, it shows that, yeah, I have found that Chomin, and then since after that we have a loop, so it's printing the values. Okay, so it's such a that whenever we have to find an element in a loop, in a list, that what we have to do, that we have to write a loop, and then let me clear it so that everyone, I don't need to scroll it. Or let me copy and paste up somewhere here. I paste up here, and then so suppose I need to search. search an element from list, and let me also add the set. So whenever we need to search an element, we declare a list. In that list, whenever we need to search an element, one way to do that, we need to run a loop, and compare that variable name for that element name, and if it is found, then it will show that value. Okay, you have seen that if I run this one, and if I run this one, execute highlighted. So what it will do that it will once it will found, it will show that yes, I found Chowmin. If I make some if it is not found, and if it is not found, no output will be printed. But in case of a set, we have some other capabilities that it does not require to suppose I need to find an element inside a set, so I don't need to write a loop. It directly have a capability that it will let us know that if that element present in that loop or no. So let's look how it's working. Search an element. It's not a check an element. Check an element exists in loop. Rest. So in that case, in this case, we have what we have to do, that we need to just write set dot contains, and then what will be the, suppose I need to check the technical, so I will write the technical. If set dot contains technical, then it will yes, I found the technical. Okay, so what is that? Yeah, so let me execute it. Select and execute it. Yeah, you can see that it helps us to find that value without writing a loop. So that is also an advantage while working with the set, that it will help us to check that any element exist in a list, exist in that set with a single line, without writing without performing the loop operation. We can directly check the if that element present in that set or no. So it will reduce the what kind of CPU time, CPU execution time, because if suppose if this is only 3 to 4 less element present in that list, suppose we have a 1,000 of elements, so it will take time. It's a CPU time that will take processing of the loop, and then check each element one by one. Once it's found, then it will say, hey, I am found. But in case of set, it will directly we can directly access that which element exists in a set, and then we just got that element, and that's it. So it will help. That's a way that how we get how we check that if the element present in a set or no, or how we check that if an element present in that list or no. Okay. And there is one more thing, it's about the conversion. Conversion means what is that? Suppose I need to convert this list to a set. That is also sometime you got a requirement that usually you need to convert a list into a set. That for that at that time what we need to do, how we need to do, how we have to perform operations, that how we need, how we do when we need to convert a list to a set or set to a list. Usually we get a requirement that we need to convert a list to a set. So what we need to do, that we need to just okay, conversion of a list to a set, it's also an important thing that we usually face during our development, that we got a requirement that we need to convert a list into a set. So what I am going to do, that I will going to convert that food name list to a food name set. So for that I just first I need to declare a new variable that whose name is food name set, a new variable set, and let's make it set. Okay, and now I need to run a loop. That we need to do, that we need to do a run a loop on food name list and add that values one by one into that list. So sorry, into that set, and then we can take a printout of that. X. Okay, we run the loop on the set and add each an element from the set. Sorry, we run the loop on the list and add one by one element into the set, and in this way we convert a list to a set. We just have to declare a set and then add one element one by one, and then we can convert a list into a set. Let's have a look. Okay, as you can see that pizza food name list contains pizza, and food name set does not contains pizza twice. It contains the pizza because that's the difference between that set and a list. Okay, and we have also one more thing, that declaration. There is a smart declaration also present up here, that whenever we declare, and at the same moment we don't need to use this add. We don't need to use this add one by one. So what we need to do, that both have the same type, means suppose we need to declare at the same time, we need to initialize at the same time when we declaring. So what we have to do, that we just have to come up here and use this one, and what department list. And what I will do, instead of doing small bracket, I will use the curly braces. In that curly braces I will add the elements. Sorry, IT department, sales, HR, okay. So it will also be, and this will also work for the set 2. That's no issue in that. I think something. Or set will also declare in the same way, no issue. And let's take a print of this. In this way. So all the operation will still behave in the same way. It's just about a declaration. Means if we have, if we got a requirement, not just about no requirement. Suppose we have a declaring that we don't want to use this much of steps. Means we don't want to use that this add multiple times, and we just want to use we just put the everything in a single line. So what we will do, we just come up here and just add one element one by one, or we can also do something like that. Means we just have to put, it's just for the what we can say, it just as a thing that it looks like we don't have to write same line of code again and again. So that's why we just use same thing. Means we just use that as soon as we declare a variable or declare a variable and add a memory allocation, at that time we add a values to in this way, so that you know that. Means sometime you will get such a situation that at the same moment you need to also add the value. So at that time you will use in such a way that you just have to put a curly braces and add all the values in a comma separated way, and it get added in that list or in a set. Okay, so that's the thing that we are currently using in a set or on a list. That's the way how we are using, how we are getting, how we are comparing. Means what's the capability that the set provide. That set provide that we don't have to run the loop for checking an element. We can directly use the contents variable, and it will check that it will automatically search for that element inside the set, and if it is comes true, then it's run. Means that it only comes as a true or false. If it is found, then it will yes, and if it not found, then it will show no. That's the thing. So in this way we are using a set or a list. Okay, let's put that in a resource. So thereafter we will move for the map. Okay, I added that list and set. Okay, let's make clear this thing. Map. It is a quite important topic, and before going to that, if you guys have any confusion to related to list and set, please ask.
No questions.
Yeah, I think it's very clear.
Okay, then we are moving to the map. Map is a most important part of that programming language inside Apex. So map, you all know that map is a contains that two things. It's work on a key and value pair. Okay, map is, it's not similar to that list or a set. It's because for accessing a list or a set we have an indexing, so it's no issue that for accessing a value from a list we have an indexing, or for accessing a value from a set we can indexing or loop, we can use that. But in case of map we don't have such kind of indexing. we have only two things, because list and set are work in a same data type, and it's a just like a series, it's like a row. Means what we can say that it's a contains index and its value, index and its value, index and its value. Means index, or we can say that index and its value, but in case of map we have a key and its value. Means instead of indexing we have a key. So it's pretty much, we can say that it's pretty much similar to the set and list, but it's not, or we can say pretty much similar to the list, but it's not exactly list, because list has an index and its value, but map has a, instead of index it has a key and its value. So it's work on a key and a value pair. Means it's work as a key and a value pair. And when we put for each and every key we have a value. So and some few properties over there, that we don't have any duplicate key. We don't have any duplicate key inside the map. Okay, that's the thing. We don't have any duplicate key inside the map. Values can be duplicated. Values can be duplicated. But key will always a unique. So that's why a map can be called as combination of both set and a list, because its keys, it acts as a set. It means it does not contain duplicate values. All the operation that we perform on a set, we can perform that all the operation on the keys, and whatever the operation we can perform on the list, we can perform that operation on the values. So it's kind of a key and value pair, or we can say that it's a kind of a set and list, combination of a set and a list. So let's see how we declare a map. Declaration of a map is we declare a map, something that we write a map, then we have a key comma value, and then map name, similar as new, and then just like we are doing in a list and set and curly braces, and that's it. In this way we are declaring a map. Okay, in this way we are declaring a map inside the apex. We just have a map, a key and value pair, and then map, and then map name, and we allocate the memory. And here key and map are the key map, or we can say that it's a key data type and value data type. Data, it might be similar. It's not a key value, it's a key data type and value data type. Okay, key data type and value data type means it's a data type. Means whenever we are declaring a very list, set or a map, we are declaring, and in that declaration we define its data type. So similar, we are defining a data type for the key, and we define a data type for the value. And it doesn't means that both data type will be same. Both data type can be different. Okay, both data type can be different, it doesn't matter. Means we just have to key and value pair, and both we need to define a data type for both key and value inside a map. And for declaring a map, we have something way that map key and value, and means map will work with the key and value pairs. But for declaring a map, we have to define that data type of the key, data type of the map. That is, after we need to define a data type of a key and a data type of the value too. So let's have a look that how we define a map, how we declaring a map. We write a map, and suppose I'm declaring we are declaring integer, and then string, and one more thing, as per naming convention, as for naming convention, it's an important thing. Whenever we write a name for a map, we just write map name. Map name is always equals to value by, and then value by, and then value by. Value by, and then 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 value by value by key. Okay, value by key means the map name will map name will be declared as a as value by key. Value by key means whatever be the value. Suppose I am storing book's name via ID. Okay, I am storing means key. Our key is a ID of that book, and value is the name of that book. So whatever the map name will be, book name via ID, book name by ID. Okay, the value is our book name, so that's by book name, or data key is our ID, so it will be book name by ID. Suppose I am storing that in a map that our key is employee name, and value is its email. You can say that, or no, it's let's reverse it that key name. I suppose I am writing a key name as an email address, and value will be an employee. Okay, value be an employee, so it's map name at the time of declaration, the map name is will be the value by key means employee by email. Okay, so whenever we are declaring map, we should follow that naming convention, that it should always be value by key. Why I'm saying that, it's to understand that means it's not a rule that we have to declare something in a way, but always for as a best practices you should follow that this rule. Okay, means always define map value by key, but it's not I'm not forcing you to do that. It's just about the best practices, best naming convention practices, that whenever we're declaring a map, we just declare as a value by key, so we can, whenever someone reading that your code, they can understand that what that map will do. So that's why whenever we are declaring a map, we just declare a value by key. So suppose I'm going to store map id in my integer will be a book code, and string will be a book name, so I will write its name by book name by code and equal to new. That's it. So in this way we declare a map. Okay, now how we add an element? We add an element via put method. We add element inside the map is via put method. Okay, put method. Well, how it's happening? We just have to put map name dot put bracket and key value, key and value. Okay, whenever we need to put a value inside a map, what we will do that we just put key and value, means we just write a map name dot put and then key and value. So the same thing I'm going to do, that I will just write book by name, book name by code dot put. Since our first key data type is integer, so I am writing 1, and book name is string. So okay, let me add one more element. 2. Let me add one more element. 3. Okay, I add 3 elements in that map. Okay, via put method. So let's have a look at how it's appearing. So for that I will put a system.debug book by name plus propanium. I write it here and let's run it. Okay, close other tab. Okay, you can see that it's coming as 1 equal to 2 equal to 3 equal to, it means key and value, key and value, key and value pairs. So it's all our key and value pairs, means whenever we are working on a map, we have to think about that key and value pair. And as I told you that key is a unique, means key cannot be duplicated. Key cannot be duplicated. We can duplicate a value. Suppose I duplicate a value that for 4, I can again add Apex best practices. It doesn't matter. Means we can duplicate value. At 4 index or at 4 key, we also find that Apex best practices, and if 2 key is also find the Apex best practices. Now suppose I duplicate the key, then what, let's see what going to happen. It will override the previous value. Suppose I just duplicate its Apex best practices again at 4 key, fourth number of key, and let me first debug it earlier before adding and then after adding. So I will in that fourth position, what I will going to add, I will add Dan Brown. Okay, now it's executed. So as you can see that, at fourth position, before adding that fourth position, we can see that Apex best practices. And once we again duplicate that key, so whatever it will do, that it will override that whatever be the previous value. So that's a precaution while taking, that's a precaution that we need to take while working with the map. So its key must be unique. If it is duplicate, it's going to be duplicate. So what it will do, that it will override the existing value. Okay, so whenever we are working with the map, so we have to always remind that these two values, that we do not have duplicate key, and values can be duplicate, it's no issue, but key cannot be duplicated. If we duplicate that key, what it will do, that it will override the existing value and put the new value instead of that existing value. So that's the main precaution that we need to take while working with the map. Okay, so let's here what we have seen, that we are extracting a value, we are putting a value inside a map. Let's see how we extract a value from a map. In order to extract a value for a map, we again, just like a set, or just like a set does not have get method. Set, just like a list, we have a get method. Similar, we have also have a get method. Just like I have told you that in the list we have a get method. In that get method, we put the index value. Similarly, in the map, we will put the key value. What will be the key value? We will put the key value, and we get what will be the key. We will put that in a get method, and we will get the value of that value present at that key. So in order to extract value from map, we use get method. It will be same as here. Instead of put, we just use get and get key. Okay, so suppose I need to extract this second position, this third. So what I will do, I will just dot get our key value is 3, so I will put the 3, and okay, you can get the third position. What will be the element present at third? It is showing up here. So what it will be do that means whenever we need to extract an element from a map, what we'll have to do, I have to just focus on the key. So key, we need to just put a getter and that key, and what will be the value present at that key, it will be comes up as a response. Okay, so in this way we get a value from a key, get a value from a map. And one more thing is important, that suppose I am storing that value in some variable. Suppose I want to store that value in some variable, so at that time the data type must be same, means since it is returning, means the since we are getting on the basis of key, we are getting a value, and value data type is a string. So what will be this, we need to store, if you need to store a book name, uh, extracted book name, extracted book name, so its data type must be the same as the data type of the value. If we change the value, if we change the data type, it throws error. It does not, because it says hey, I will not like it. Okay, sorry, execute, sorry, execute. Okay, good. Okay, so what it will do that whenever we are storing a value in a whenever we are storing a map value in a variable, then we need to be the data type of that variable must have the same as the data type of the value. Suppose if I use the integer, integer, then it will not, it will say error that you are storing you are doing illegal assignment, that string cannot be stored in a integer. So that's the issue we will face while working. So what we need to do, that we need to just make the same data type as the value have. So whatever be the data type of the value, it will be same data type of the variable to which it which will get from the map. Okay, so this is the way how we extract a value from a map, but it's only to extract a value from a map. Okay, it is used to extract a value from a map. Suppose I need to work on the large data set, means large number of values. So we, again, just like a list, just like a set, we need to take a help of a loop. Okay, again we need to take a help of a loop to process on a large data set. So what for that, how we are using a loop on a map, that it's quite different, but it's a quite different how we use that loop on a with map, means how we use loop with a map, but concept is still remains same, but use is quite different, that how we are using. Since, as I already tell you, that map is a map is a what means a collection, or we can say that map is a collection of list and set. Yeah, as I already told you, that it's a collection of a list and a set, and map key will be a set, and maps value will be as a list. Okay, so that's the thing that means the map is a collection of a thing. Means we can say that map is a collection of a list and a set, and maps key means whatever the key of a map, it's also called as a collection. Means all the key, if we collect all the key at the same all the key at a in a same list or in the same name, it will behave as a, means all the key are, if we extract all the keys in a same collection, then it will behave as a list. Sorry, it will behave as a set, and all the values, if we extract in the same collection, it will behave as a list. Why it behave as a list or a set? Because key cannot be duplicated, and the main issue is that the same thing, key cannot be duplicated and list values can be duplicated. It's no issue in that. So let's have a look at how we work on that, how we work with the loop with map. So since its key is a means if we it's all the key means yeah, one more thing before going to that loop, one more thing, suppose I need to see all the keys at a one point. So what we have to do, that I just have to write get all keys, our book name dot key set. What it will provide? It will provide a set of all keys. So we have to, let me put it here. So map name dot key set, and its return type is a set. And if you need to, if we need to all the values, then we have to method can values, map name dot values, and its return type is list. Okay, so what I'm saying, that if we have to get all the keys, then we have to write in this way, and if we have to get all the values, then we have to write values, and it will working. That's so let me show you. Yeah, you can see that all the keys are 1 2 3 4, and all the values are Harry Potter, Apex Best Practices, Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown. Okay, we have all the values and all the keys up here, and as you know that set is behaving in a curly braces, and list is a list in a brackets, so it's also doing the same thing. Okay, its return type is a set, so it comes in a curly braces, and its values return type is a list, so it comes in a bracket. So that's the thing. So how we perform loop? So for performing the loops, what we can do, that just we have learned that we can perform loops in that here, as you can see that we can perform the loops on the set. Yeah, here skill set. Yeah, we perform the loops. So just like the same thing, we can perform the loops over there here. So what we will do, that since in that since we have a set of elements, set of collection is key set, and that key set has a data type of integer, so it will be integer. And we need to write a variable name since it contains the book code, so I will write a book code as a variable name. Let's see all the book codes. Okay, what I have done that I just write a loop. In that loop, I just put the key set, since key set written a set of all key set written set of all keys. Okay, and values will written list of all values. Okay, so what I have to do, I will just write a loop, and that loop will handle in a such way that I will get that key set, and also we get since we have a since values data type is a string, so I'm just typing as a string and write as a book name, and then I will get the book name in a loop too. So since its return type is a set of keys and list of values, so what it will do that we can, since both in at both places we can perform a simple loop to get the values, either it will be a set or either be it will be a list, but the uh, loop will behave same for both of them. So let's execute it. So that's why I will just use that. And since key set means key set is a key set data type is an integer, so I just put the integer, and values data type is a string, so I just put the string and extract all the values. Let's execute it and see. Okay, book code 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 2 3 4 and all the values. Now the thing is that since I got the book code, and so this will help, this loop will help us to extract an element from a map one by one, because what it will be do, it will give us all the keys, and we, as we know that on the basis of key we can extract a value from a map. So on the basis of key we can just put a get method, and what will be there, we will pass the key, and it will return it will return the value of that map. So this loop will help us to identify that in which key there is what value present. So what I will going to do that I will just use this loop, and let me comment, because it's just for to understand that how we perform loops on that keys and value set. So let's perform that. I will just extract all the key set in a, means all the key set in a collection, and then suppose we need to extract a value from a map. So what it will be do that it will do something in a extract an element from a map, and we will just write book name dot get, and we need to write a key, and key is our book code, and then if and that's it. Once we write in a such a way that and hit execute, it will extract a value one by one, and let me print the value too, so it will be helpful. Sorry, key key of the map are extracted value of map, and key is the book code, so let's write the book code. Yeah, for 1 we have Harry Potter, for 2 we have a best practices, for 3 we have a Da Vinci Code, for 4 we have a Dan Brown. It is the same the in this way, in this one means for each key we have a value. So how we get the each, how we get the value from how we get a value from a key, on the basis of key, we already discussed that by using the get method we can get the value from a key. Okay, but since we don't have to, we don't know what's the we don't know if the elements are much larger, means if we have a thousands of elements, then it's not possible to get write each index one by one. So what we will do, we will just use the key set. What it will do, it will provide all the keys of a related to the map, and then On the basis of key sort, we get all the values related to that key. So it will help us to on the basis of key we can get the values, and for that we loop will help a lot. Means we just get the values on the keys, and then put that keys in a and sorry, we can get the value on the basis of key. It's a quite simple, and in this way we are following that how we get the value and how we get the key. And since this key set is act as a set, so all the operations that we can perform on a key set, we can also perform in this key. All the operation that we can perform on a set, sorry, all the operation that we can perform on a set, we can also perform on a key set also. Let's check how we can since its data type is a set, so we can store that key set in a some set also. Suppose set of integer.
Suraj, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You said in set we are not, I mean, the order is alphabetical order, right? And then if we are setting the keys not in order, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, not like that, like 4, 3, 1, 2, for example.
Yeah.
When we execute it, is it going to be in order or?
No, it's going to be in order. Let's see. I will put the one is near. Okay, let me.
I will also have similar question.
Okay, no issue. Actually, it's a internal processing, means no issue. I will put that one after the 3, but it's showing 1 at the first position, so it gets ordered. Okay.
Suraj, okay.
Okay, yeah, it's get order, but while processing you will get the same order. Means while extracting a value from the map, you will get in the same order. Means if we put 1 in after the 3, then it will get the value after the 3. But while Selphos internal storing, means Selphos is internally stored in an ordered way. Okay. And you can look at that, since I put 1 after the 3, so it will get the it will extract me after the 3. There's no issue in that. But Selphos is still stored in this in the ordered way. But we have a means it's not an issue. It's not an issue because it's storing in the same way. So we just have to know if we want to in a shorted way, what we will do, just put what is that, map dot short. So what it will do, it will automatically the order in which Selphos is working, it will also do the same thing. Sorry, map dot short. Let me check the map methods. I forgot. Contains get hash put reset size to string. There's a one small thing. Sorry, this one. No, it's what's happening. doing something like, but internally it's doing the same way. Means if you we need to convert that in a set, then after it will behave as the same way. But self was internally stored in a sorted way, but while we are extracting in that one by one element, it will behave as the same, that how we put the element. But it's up to internal storing. Means internally self was stored in a sorted way. Itself was internally stores a set or a map in a sorted way. And if we need to do that same thing in a sorted way, means unsorted, means if we need to extract in an unsorted way, then we need to perform some activities. So it will get sorted, also get sorted, but it's not an issue. The thing is that you need to know that whenever we create a map, it's get sorted according to that keys. According to that keys, it gets sorted. Okay.
Suraj,
Okay, thank
keys
you.
should be always a number or can be string?
No, it can be anything. Keys can be string, number, or we can put anything. It's a data type. It's a data type. We can put any data type.
Then for loop will not work, right?
No, it will work.
Really?
Yeah. Suppose I make it a string, so I will also change it to string.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so it will change whenever we make it a string. And suppose I make it a string, so I will put all the values as a string. So I will put all the set as a string and set, and here we also make changes as a set. And since I just told you that since key set is a behave as a set, so all the capabilities of a set can we also perform on the keys also, just like sorry, set of integer codes. Okay, since it is behave as a set, so what equal to it will store all the set value in the book codes. Okay, and we can if we can check the key value, just like we are checking if contains key, sorry, contains, my mistake, contains, and any value. If you want to check it, any value, suppose I need to check 4, so contains 4. Okay, yes, I found the key. Now since I have just since what I had done, that I just declare a variable, and then in that variable I just store all the key set values into that variable, and then I perform the set. Since it behave as a set, so I can perform the set. Or we have some shorted ways also available. Instead of doing that, we can do something like that. Since its return type is a set, so instead of declaring a set, we can check as this way. Okay, it will also behave because its return type is a set, so it will also behave as the same way. Let's execute it. You can find it will now it will show, yes, I found the key. Yeah, and one more thing, means since these both are the property of a set, means it's a property of a set to check the contents. Now it's a property, this is also a property of set, and this is also a property of set to check the contents. that will check the set of values and then show the contents, means if that key contains or no. Suppose I need to, instead of doing that much thing, I need to directly check that if that key contains in a map or no, because it's checking that key contains in this map or no, key contains in that map or no. So map also provide a method to check contents value. So what is it will do? It's something like that. Contains key. Its command just change. Instead of contains, it becomes contains key, and instead of key set, it becomes the map name dot contains key. So it will also say, now third time it will show that yes, I found the key. Yeah. So there are the three means checking a value in a key. We can do in a such a way. So in this way, we can find a key value, key from a, we can find a key, check that it exists in a map or no. In this way, we can do that. Check a key in a map. It's going to be a map name dot contains key. Okay, so in this way we check a key in a map and it will returns that thing. So what we have discussed, that we just discussed that how to declare a map. For declaring a map, we have a, how we declare a map, we have a key and value pairs. For key, we have a declare a key data type and a value data type. And during the name convention, during writing a name of a map, always follow the value by key. And in order to add a value in a map, we will use the put method to add a value in a map, that key, and in that put method we will provide a key and a value pairs. And then if we provide all the key and value pairs, and what we need to consider, that we can't duplicate a key inside a map. Means if we duplicate a key, that what it will do, it will override the existing key value. So we can duplicate the value, it's no issue that. And in order to get a value from a map, what we will do, we will just use the get and get a value from a map. Okay, and then if we and map is also, since map is a collection of keys and value, means it's whenever we use the key set, it's a written set of keys, and whenever we use the values, it will return a list of values. So since it is its return type is a set and its return type is a list, so we can easily perform a loop over on the key set and values. And why we are performing the key set, why we are performing the loops on a key set? Because if we need to, suppose we have a requirement that we need to extract a value from a map, or while development, it's not a requirement, while development we always have a situation, comes in a situation that we need to extract a value from a map. So whenever we have a situation that we need to extract a value from a map, what we will do, we will just use the get method to directly, if we know the key, we directly use that thing. If we don't know the key, and at that time we will just use that run the loop on the key set and then extract the value one by one. Okay, and after that, if we need to check anything, if we need to check that if that particular key present in a map or no, so that will also, we have a method called contains key. It will help us to check that method present in a map or no. Okay, so we discuss about this much point. We will discuss more points on the collection of variable, because there are few more points are also still, that how we perform more operations, because your whole coding is revolved around the list set and map, so you have to know all the basic operations that we are going to perform on the list set and map. So few operations are still pending on all those things, so we will take a look at in another class. Okay, if you have any question, let's ask me, I will answer you.
Siraj, at the beginning, I mix get method with other collections, because in for example in a list, when we say get, like line 31, it gets the index number.
In the list, it's an index number. Yeah.
Yes, but
And
in map, it's taking the key, whatever it is, either string or whatever, and then
Yeah.
returns the value of that.
Yeah, correct.
So that was my confusion, but now it's clear. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Make yourself very much familiar with this list, set, and map, because I always told you that it's the only thing that your whole code will be revolve around these three things. Okay, ask questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Then. Okay.
Suraj, please make sure you copy this also into the resources.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sending to the resource.
Maybe we can put the for the coding room, just codes.
This one here. Okay. Now I'm starting from the map. Okay, let me add a map because I don't know. Okay, I just do this stop recording.